Hello students, in this video we are going to discuss the nomenclature of amines. That is, we need to discuss the common name and also the IUPAC names for amines. First, let us discuss the common name for the general representation of an amine which is given here, that is a primary amine. Here R is representing an alkyl group. Therefore, we can name this alkyl group, and then NH2 group, that is we are representing here as amine by name. So, according to the common system, the amines are called as alkyl amines. As it is given the name, that is alkyl amines. By adding the suffix amine to the name of the corresponding alkyl group. So whatever the alkyl group is there, that is named first, and then the suffix amine is used. So let us take one example. If the alkyl group is methyl group, then what is the name for this compound? That is methylamine. As I told you, first write the name for the alkyl group, that is methyl is the alkyl group here. So first we have to name the alkyl group, and then we have to add a suffix here, that is amine. So the suffix amine is given or added to the name of the corresponding alkyl group. Here methyl is the alkyl group, so the name of this is methylamine. That is according to the common system of naming. When we take another alkyl group like ethyl, so what will be the name here? Now the name will be ethylamine. Let us take a general representation for a secondary amine. This one is a secondary amine, R2NH. As I told you in the previous video, when there is NH, it makes sure that it will be a which type of amine? That is secondary amine. So this one is a secondary amine in which the two alkyl groups are of same type. That is R2 is representing here, that is the number of alkyl group. Here two alkyl groups are there and both alkyl groups are same. In that case, how we name this one? That is, the name is given, two alkyl group is there, therefore it is named as di, and the name of the alkyl group, and we have to add the suffix here amine. So the name of this is the general representation of a secondary amine. We can name it as dialkyl amine. Let us take one example. If the two alkyl group are methyl, like in this case, so here instead of writing CH3 twice, we can write also in this way. Otherwise, how we can write this one? This can also be written in this way, CH3 twice NH. We can write also in this way, CH3 twice NH, or we can write in this way also. So what it shows here, there are two alkyl groups here that are both are the same alkyl group, that is the methyl group. Here also methyl group is there, here also methyl group are there. So both are the same alkyl group. In that case, we have to name it as di, because two methyl groups are there. Therefore, dimethyl, and we have to add the suffix here, that is amine. So dimethyl amine is the common name for this compound. Next, if there are two different alkyl group like this, one is the methyl group and the other one is a ethyl group. So when two different alkyl groups are there, that is attached to the nitrogen, so in that case, how we name this one? Because two different alkyl groups are there, so we have to name them separately. So when we are naming this one, alphabetic order we have to follow. That is ethyl, this one is ethyl, so it should be named first because alphabetic order E comes first. Then we have to name the methyl group, and then we have to add the suffix, that is amine. So this compound, the name is ethylmethylamine, and here the space between them is not required. Just you need to write in the continuous way. Don't leave the space between ethyl and methyl and amine. It should be written continuous. So the name of this compound, that is a common name, is ethylmethylamine, which is also a secondary amine. How we have identified this one is secondary amine? Because two alkyl groups are there, and by this I told you, when there is NH in the compound, just make it sure that it will be an which type of amine? That is secondary amine. Now let us talk an example about the tertiary amine. Here this one is a tertiary amine because I told you, whenever there is a N in the molecule, make it sure that it will be a tertiary amine. So here three alkyl groups are there. That is, this is the alkyl group, this one and this one. Three alkyl groups are there, and all the three alkyl groups are same type, that is of methyl group. So how we name this one? Because three alkyl groups are there, therefore we have to name this one as tri, because three methyl group, therefore trimethyl, and we have to add the suffix here amine. So the name of this compound is trimethylamine. But if one of the alkyl group is different, let us take this case. In this, two are the similar alkyl group here, that is methyl and methyl. Look at surrounding to the nitrogen. So then only it will be more clear that which one is the group here. So which alkyl group is there? Methyl are the two alkyl groups here, and there is another group here, that is actually the group which is the ethyl group. So three alkyl groups are there. From this, these two are the similar alkyl group, that is two methyl groups are there, and there is one ethyl group. So alphabetically we can say that E comes first, therefore we have to name ethyl. So how we name this one? That is ethyl. And here methyl group, two methyl groups are there, therefore we have to name it as dimethyl, and we have to add the suffix amine. So the name of this compound is ethyl dimethylamine. So this one is also a tertiary amine. Let us take one example in which the amine is actually primary amine here. How you have identified it is a primary amine? Because NH2. I told you, when there is NH2 in the molecule, it should be in primary, and if there is NH, that will be a secondary, and if there is N, that means it will be a tertiary. So this one is actually a primary amine. But here this is called as the benzyl. This one is called as benzyl, and this group is actually amine group. So how we name this one? That is, the name is given as benzylamine. The name of this compound is benzylamine. If you remember, we have already learned benzyl chloride, benzyl alcohol. In the case of benzyl chloride, here it is Cl. But in the case of benzyl alcohol, it is OH here. That is C6H5CH2OH is benzyl alcohol. C6H5CH2Cl is the benzyl alcohol. So write the this structure, that is actually called as benzylamine. When we take an example, that is a tertiary amine in which all our phenyl groups are there. This group is called as, now it is called as a phenyl group. This is a phenyl group. C6H5 group is called as a phenyl group. As a substitute, we can name it as a phenyl. So what will be given the name for this compound? Because three phenyl groups are there, therefore we have to name this as triphenyl, and we have to use the word amine, that is the suffix. So triphenylamine is the name of this, that is a common name for this compound. And what about the type of amine here? This one is a tertiary amine, that is it is a 3-degree amine. Because how you have identified? Because nitrogen is linked to 3 groups here, that can be either aryl or alkyl group, that is 3 degree. And I told you what is the easy way to remember or to identify which one is tertiary, when there is nitrogen single here without any hydrogen, that means all the three are actually the alkyl or aryl group attached to this one. So that is a tertiary amine. If there are two phenyl group and one methyl group, so how we name this one? Here two different groups are attached to nitrogen, that is the two phenyl group. These are the two phenyl groups, and one there is a methyl group. Which one is the methyl group? This is the methyl group. So how we identify this one? How we make the name for this one? That is two phenyl groups are there and alphabetically order P comes first, so we have to name this one as diphenyl and then methylamine. So diphenyl then methylamine is the name for this compound. So these are the name of that is a common name for some of the organic compounds, that is the amines we have discussed here. Now let us discuss the IUPAC naming. So before discussing the IUPAC naming, you should learn the common name for these compounds also, because usually in the questions, instead of giving IUPAC name, the common name will be given to you. So learn or practice some of the problems for common name also. Basically, the simplest one will be given, don't go for the typical one. Next, we'll be discussing the IUPAC naming. So for IUPAC naming, for the general representation of primary amine, how we name this one? This is a primary amine, that is RNH2. That is an alkyl group, and this one is a amine. It is representing the primary amine. It is a 1 degree amine. Now how we name according to the IUPAC? According to the IUPAC, the longest chain, that is a word root we have to use here, and because such type of naming is only used for such amines that in which there is no other functional group like aldehyde, ketones, acids, it should not be there. In that case only NH2 is taken as a functional group. So here in this case we'll be naming for such type of organic compound in which there is no other functional group, just we have only NH2 as a functional group. So for this, how we name this one? That is, first we have to name the alkyl group. That is, instead of saying alkyl group, we can take it is in the main chain. So the R is taken in the main chain, and here NH2 is taken as a functional group. So in that case, how we name this one? What is the name for that R? That is named in this way, that is alkane, and the amine word is used here. So what will be the name this one? That is the name of the word root, that is alkane with primary suffix, and here primary suffix, if you remember, for single bond it is an, for double bond therefore it is en, and for triple bond it is yn. So we have to name this way, and at last we have to use the suffix, that is a secondary suffix, that is amines. So better we'll take one example, it will be more clear. First we'll be taking one example, the simplest example, that is CH3 group is attached to NH2. It is a 1 degree amine. So which one is taken as the main chain here? Only one carbon is there, so that is taken in the main chain. Remember here, nitrogen is not included in the chain because it should be attached to the chain, but it is not numbered because only we are numbering the carbons, not the nitrogen. So here CH3, that means methane. We can use the word methane, and we are using the suffix, that is amine. So what is the name given for this one? That is methylamine. How we name this one? Methylamine. Let us take one more example. This example, in this, which one is the main chain here? because the only one possibility here, this is the main chain that is having 2 number of carbon atoms. So what is the word root here? The word root is eth. Eth is the word root, and here because there is single bond between the 2 carbon atom, therefore we are using the primary suffix an. An is the primary suffix, sorry, this one is the an primary suffix, we are using an, and it is having a functional group amine. So that's why it is named as ethynamine. Here at the end we are using the word amine. So how we name this one? That is ethynamine. Let us take one secondary amine. In the secondary amine here, because the 2 methyl groups are here, that is, this is the 2 methyl groups are there. But according to the IUP system, one of the alkyl group should be taken as a main chain and other one should be taken as a substitute. So here 2 alkyl groups are there and both the alkyl groups are same. So in that case, we can take this one as a main chain. This one as a main chain. Let us take this much. This one is the in main chain, and so which one will be the substitute here? So in that case, one of the methyl group will be taken as a substitute. Now how to number this one? Because here in this the main chain having only a single carbon and that is attached to the nitrogen, so only one carbon is there. Because nitrogen, it can be connected to the main chain but it should not be numbered, because we are taking the number for carbon chains, not for nitrogen, so it should not be numbered. So here how to name the position of methyl group, that is a substitute here. So before that we'll discuss what will be the word root here. Only single carbon there in the word root, that's why we have to use the word root, that is meth. And here single bonds are there, therefore methane, and we have to use the suffix here, that is the functional group amine. Now how to name the substitute? Here which one is a substitute? Methyl group is a substitute, and which one is attached to the nitrogen? You can see here this group is actually attached to the nitrogen. So we have to write N-methyl. What it shows? The position of a substitute methyl, that is, it is attached to nitrogen, therefore we have to name it as N-methyl, then that is a substitute, and the other one is methanamine, that is representing the word root with primary suffix N and the secondary suffix amine. So the name of this compound is N-methyl methanamine. Let us take another example, that is also a secondary amine, but here the 2 alkyl groups are different. You can see here this one is a methyl group and the other one is a ethyl group, because 2 carbons are there, ethyl group. Now in such case, which one you can take it as a main chain? The longest one should be taken as the main chain, and which one is the longest chain here? That is the ethyl group is the longest. So this should be taken in the main chain. So the methyl group should be a substitute here. Now the numbering. How to start the numbering? Because the functional group is NH, that means the amine is a functional group. So we have to start the counting from the carbon atom which is attached to the nitrogen. So this one is the first carbon and this one is the second carbon, that is, this one is the second carbon. So here 2 carbon atoms are there in the main chain, so we have to use the word root, that is eth, and a single bond is present between the 2 carbon atom, therefore we have to use the primary suffix N, and here the functional group is amine, therefore we have to use the suffix amine. So that is the name of this part. The name of this part is that is ethynamine. This is the name for ethynamine, but there is one substitute. Which one is the substitute here? That is, this is the substitute. Methyl group is a substitute. Now we need to name this substitute also, and because the substitute is attached to the nitrogen, therefore we have to say N, we can write it as N-methyl. The position of methyl group here, that is, it is attached to the nitrogen of amine group, therefore it is named as N-methyl and then ethanamine. Next example is a tertiary amine. When you look at here, it is a tertiary amine which having the 3 alkyl groups here. That is, this is the alkyl group methyl, this one is methyl, and here this one is 2 carbon, therefore ethyl. So which group is the longest group? That is the ethyl group. So this should be taken in the main chain. Here the number of carbon atoms in the main chain, this is the first carbon, this is one is the second carbon. 2 carbon atoms are there in the main chain, therefore it is named as eth, word root, and because single bond is there between the 2 carbon atom, therefore N. So ethane, and we are using the suffix for function group amine. So ethanamine comes here. But here the 2 substitutes which we are, it is circled here, that is methyl, 2 methyl groups are the substitute here. Now both are attached to nitrogen, that you can see here, both are attached to the nitrogen. So the position of this methyl group is nitrogen. So it is named as NN dimethyl. Di word we are using because both are methyl. So instead of writing methyl, what we can write NN dimethyl, and the rest of them is named as ethanamine. So the name of this compound is NN dimethyl ethanamine. Let us take some more complicated example. Now in this case, it is also a tertiary amine. How we can say it is a tertiary amine? Because you can see here nitrogen. I told you when there is single nitrogen without any hydrogen, and that means that the 3 different alkyl groups or the aryl groups are attached, that is a tertiary amine. So this one is a tertiary amine. Here the 3 groups are there, that is you can see here it is a ethyl group, this one is also ethyl group. What about the other one? That is 4 carbon group is there, that is actually the butyl group. But in the IUPAC, the longest carbon chain group should be taken in the main chain. That means the main chain here, that is this one is taken in the main chain. So make the uses of pencil and mark the circle for the substitute and mark the box for the case of longest chain that is taken in the word root. So in this case here, because 4 number of carbon atoms are there in the main chain, therefore we have to use the word root but, and all in between these, all between all these carbon atoms here, all are single, therefore we have to use the primary suffix an, therefore butane and butanamine, or we can just write it as one amine, or we can just write as butanamine. It is butanamine or butane 1 amine. Now how to name the substitute? Here the 2 substitutes are there and both are the same substitute, that is ethyl group. And the position of this ethyl group, that is on the nitrogen. It is attached to nitrogen, therefore it is named as NN diethyl. Di word we are using because 2 similar substitute are there, therefore we have to use diethyl. So NN diethyl butanamine is the name of this one. Butanamine can be also named as butane 1 amine. When we take this example, in this example, first of all identify which type of amine is this one. That is, it having NH2 means it should be a primary one. This one is actually a primary, as I told you. When there is NH2, it should be the primary, and if there is NH, it will be secondary. If only N is there, that will be a tertiary. So this one is a primary amine, and here there is only one word root. That means here only one alkyl group is there that should be taken in the main chain. And I told you counting you have to do, because here the functional group NH2 is there. So we have to start the counting from nearer to the functional group. So first carbon will be this carbon, then this is the second, this is the third. So how we name this one? Because here 3 carbon atoms are there in the main chain, therefore we have to use the word root prop, and here there is a double bond between the second and third carbon, therefore we have to name it 2-ene. Why we are using ene? Because double bond, therefore 2-ene. The position of double bond also should be specified, that is on the second carbon, therefore prop 2-ene. And what is the position of the functional group here? Which one is the functional group? That is this one is the functional group, so that should be named with the suffix amine. So here in this case the position of amine is also specified, that is 1-amine. So the name of this compound is prop 2-ene 1-amine. If we take an example in which there are 2 amines group, like here 2 NH2 groups you can see. In such a case, how we name this one? Because the central you can see here CH2 6 times. CH2 6 times means there are a carbon chain of 6 carbon chain that is taken in the main chain. So here the main chain having the 6 carbon. Therefore the word root we have to name the word root as hex, because 6 carbon atoms chain, therefore hex, and all are single bond between the CH2. When you expand this one, CH2, CH2, CH2 6 times. So you can see all are singly bonded, therefore hexane. Here the 2 functional groups, and that is the 2 amine groups are there, and that is on the which carbon? Because when you expanded this one, if it is expanded then this way, NH2, CH2, 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 like this 6 times you have need to write. CH2, CH2, then NH2. So when you look at here, the this is the, if it is the first carbon, then the NH2 group is attached. One of the NH2 group is on the first carbon. So the next NH2 group is on which carbon? That is on the 6th carbon. So that means the position of amine, that is a functional group, that is on the first carbon and 6th carbon. That's why it is named as hexane 1,6-diamine. Why we are using diamine? Because here 2 amine groups are there, therefore it is named as diamine. So hexane, that is a 6 carbon chain, and the position of amines is on the first and 6th carbon, therefore it is named as hexane 1,6-diamine. So when we look at the case of aromatic amines, as we have already discussed, C6H5NH2, that means when the NH2 group is on the benzene ring, then it is called as aniline. That is a common name, and it can also be named as benzylamine. So usually we are using the word aniline. If there is a substitute, that is methyl group attached to the ortho position of to the aniline, then it is called as commonly we can use the word toluidine. That is aniline with a methyl group is named as toluidine. And if it is the CH3 is on the ortho position, then it is called as a orthotoluidine. And what is the IUPAC name for this one? That is a 2-methyl-aniline, because the methyl group is on the second carbon. Therefore, it is named as 2-methyl-aniline, or it can be also named as orthomethyl-aniline. Next, when you look at the third one, in this Br is attached on the 4th carbon, because NH2 group, that carbon is first carbon, the opposite carbon is the 4th carbon. So it is named as 4-bromobenzenamine, or we can use the word 4-bromoaniline. As I told you, aniline can also be named as benzenamine. So it can be named as 4-bromobenzenamine or 4-bromoaniline. And what is the other name? It can also be named as para-bromoaniline. In the fourth compound that is given here, C6H5NCH3 twice, that I will write it once again here. That is a benzene ring on which there is nitrogen and two methyl groups are there like this, CH3. So it is a tertiary amine. So in this case, how we name this one? Because it is a benzene ring. One of the group is benzene ring. So which one is the longest chain? That is this one is the longest chain. That is the benzene ring is the longest chain because 6 carbon and the other two are single carbon. So I told you one of the group you have to take it as a main chain. So benzene is the ring is taken as in the main chain. So how we name C6H5N can be named as benzylamine. And here the two substitute, these are the two substitute which is attached to nitrogen. Therefore it is named as NN dimethyl benzylamine. So the name of this compound is NN dimethyl because two methyl groups attached on the nitrogen. Therefore NN dimethyl, and this together it is named as benzylamine. So here we have discussed some of the examples of amines, its common name and the IUPAC name. Both are important. So practice some of the lower examples for a common name, but also practice the IUPAC name because the questions will be based on both. So this is all about this video. Have a nice day.